Welcome back to Viewer Discretion. I'm Mina Kimes. My co-host is David Dennis Jr. Today, we are recapping Alien Earth episodes 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
David, have you been checking your cups before you take drinks out of them since watching episode 5 of Alien Earth?
Absolutely feeling really nervous about drinking after anybody or hanging around complete idiots. These are things I don't want to do anymore.
We will get to episode 5. There's a lot to talk about with regards to the general incompetence of the Maginot outside of our guy Morrow. Second question. Has any take ever aged better than our first episode when we predicted that Morrow was going to run away with this show and become an all-time TV character?
He is, all-time TV character, and the actor, Babu Cisse. I was doing some stuff on him, looking him up, right? So he was doing an interview with Variety after, around episode 5. And they were like, we were contacting him via Zoom in June because he was in Gambia where he was directing a Wolof language production of Arthur Miller's The Crucible. This dude... This dude is a Renaissance man. He's everything. And I don't know what the Emmy, situation is, pre-Emmy stuff. Put the guy on the ballot. He's running away with some awards.
I feel like I should do if I did an alien power ranking like we do with our reality shows, he would be one. I have to say, T. Ocelus, the eye alien, might have leaked Kirch.
Yes.
Also, right. Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're gonna talk about both episodes 4 and 5. Episode 4 really slows it down, which is kind of a trend with this show. It's a lot of crazy action, slow it down. Crazy action, slow it down. Episode 5 is obviously a lot of crazy action. Episode 4 is called Observation. It's the aftermath of Wendy realizing that she can hear the aliens talking, specifically the xenomorphs talking. So it opens with the scientist, Sylvie's husband, who actually he has his own plot line, kind of playing with it. Boy Cavalier is very intrigued. They realize she can hear them. This was something you and I talked about.
Yeah.
How you and I discussed, do we care? I think at the end of the last few episodes, how interested are we in the fact that she can communicate with aliens? At the end of the episode, the baby xenomorph breaks free. And similar to the Maginot, the labs at Prodigy just have glass containers that are very easy to break out of. It kind of looks at her like a little cobra, and she communicates with it. She pets it. She treats it like a little pet, which makes sense because she's a human. Do you care? What is our general feeling about Wendy? The ability of Wendy to communicate with the xenomorphs, because that is the big reveal, and it is obviously going to be a big factor moving forward.
So I'm interested in if the xenomorph and women have a thing, because I'm going to skip to episode 5 when they the xenomorph descends on the captain, right, the newly minted captain, and kind of toys with her a little bit before actually killing her at the end. She allows her to run away. Maybe this is just horror movie trope.
I have so many thoughts on that.
Allows her to run away very slowly. But there's because we're leading into the first Alien movie, right?
Yeah.
Where there is a Sigourney Weaver character who develops some connection with these alien, with the xenomorphs, to eventually, from what I understand, has babies with them or something later in these movies, and it gets kind of weird. So I don't know if there's this...
It impregnates her or whatever you call it.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's this thing of they're looking for women. I don't know what there is, but that's probably the peak of my interest in it. It's probably one of the storylines I care about the least, going back to what we talked about a couple weeks ago. But I'm intrigued that there's something there.
I don't know if it's women so much as it is synths and cyborgs, because the xenomorph clearly has no problem absolutely plowing through humans and killing them. But there are a lot of moments of hesitation with non-humans, including earlier, I think it was episode 2 or 3, I think it was 3, where the xenomorph comes up to Morrow and then walks away, right? Who's a cyborg. So there might be something going on there. I will say the scene of her replicating the speech was pretty creepy, and that was a good scene. It's like me trying to do a dolphin noise to my kid. But I'll stop that.
Keep going. No, keep going. Just keep just keep running back.
But I think I find it interesting insofar as it kind of is in communication, or at least it reflects another storyline, or a couple storylines in this episode, which is the Prodigy losing control of the synths, right?
Yes.
Like that's something that's going on. Is, oh wait, it turns out if you put kids in superhuman bodies, they might not be on your side. They might do weird stuff. They might, like Slightly, be easily manipulated. They might, like Nibs, attack you. And I think if Wendy is able to communicate with them, it introduces an element of like, she might not do what Boy Cavalier wants. She might empathize with these guys. And so that, I think, is so much of Alien is about shifting allegiances and who's on whose side. That makes it increasingly likely that we might see some allegiance shifting. Yeah,
especially knowing when she finds out fully what's going on with her brother, which they are basically enslaving him basically for his health or like to keep him alive and things like that. And we don't know the extent of the tampering they've done with his body, right? We know that there's a lung that's going on and all that stuff, but we don't know what else is happening.
There are some interesting moments with the brother I wanted to talk about before we get to the aforementioned synth kids. So as you said, they tell him, they do the surgery, Hermit. They tell him he can stay and work. There's a scene where he's talking to one of the Prodigy employees, and he's like, this is my sister, you gotta let us go. And I think I wrote it down because he said, your sister is a transhuman product.
Yes.
He says she's still a human, and the Prodigy says, no, she's not, which I think is interesting. And then, like, as you said, they basically force him into like indentured servitude, right? And there's another scene where they show him playing with the synths. He wanted to call them the kids. And we learn a little bit about, like, the kids don't eat food. They have these little food strips that remind them of flavors. They ask them what the 5 is. And he says, well, the old planet had governments and that didn't work. So like corporations took over. So I thought this was interesting so far, David, as it reinforced, like, there's no recourse for any of these people, right?
Yeah.
Like Hermit, he works for a corporation. There's no governments. There's no armies. There's no law. This is what would happen if corporations took over the world. Stare at camera. So, we talk about like the science fiction and the, introducing complicated ideas, whatever. This is a very important idea in the Alien universe. Yeah,
it's basically unchecked capitalism and what happens, right? And I want to, there's some about episode 5 that nails us down. I want to talk about, so I'm gonna save that. But yes, it is about just what happens when there's CEOs and there's no checks and balances and there's nobody who can regulate any of this, and you just have kids and like when these are like child quote unquote geniuses, trillionaires who may have their own. Well, you got to be kind of like maniacal to be, a trillionaire. Just face it. But like, these are the things that you have when you don't have that check. Do you throw spaceships in the middle of a city and you put people in, kids' bodies, and then you use people for indentured servitude, as you mentioned? Like, this is what that world looks like. And, as you mentioned, we're staring at the camera about that. So.
One quick critique of the show. So Boy Cavalier is, and at the end of episode 5, we see Yutani, right? So we get to see 2 of these trizillionaires. I think the Boy Cavalier character, they're pushing it a little bit too much with him. I like the general idea of this, like, let's take all of the evil billionaires on Earth and combine them into one character and make him like very unlikely. He to me, I wish that his character was a little bit more nuanced. Yeah, like he's a little too on the nose of like an evil billionaire, immature. I don't know, just kind of wish he was a little bit more scary. Because he's like, this scene, there's a scene in this episode where he the eye takes over the goat, T.S. Ellis takes over the goat, and they stare at each other, and you're just looking at him, you're like, some alien is gonna F his like, you just know it's coming. I just wish he was a little bit more of like a threat, or like a little bit more believable to me.
Well, the thing is, so if we're gonna have a situation where he does get his comeuppance, I want it to be gratifying, right? And I'm not at the point, yes, he's an annoying billionaire and I'm a trillionaire and all this stuff, but I don't think that I feel the way about him. Like, I don't feel about him like I feel about like Joffrey or somebody. And I think we're trying to they're trying to get to that point, and I think we need to get there. Not that we like the dude, but like there needs to be. It's just
make him earn our hate.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, because also when as you're talking about it, I'm thinking about like him versus like Lex Luthor, who we talked about, and I think one of the things that we've talked about with these is how these billionaire folks get treated. It's almost kind of like how I feel about White Lotus a little bit. It's sort of like, I don't ever feel at the end of these seasons like really good. I don't feel like that anybody's getting anything. Like, I don't know. It just feels sort of like what's supposed to make me feel good about it instead of actually drive me to the point where I want to see something happen to them.
Yeah, Joffrey in Game of Thrones, and they also accomplished this with what's his name, the truly evil guy.
Oh yeah, the Battle of the Bastards guy. Yeah.
You were a little scared whenever he was on camera. Like, what was he gonna like? He'd have like a bow and arrow, and you're like, is he just gonna kill that prostitute?
Yeah.
I don't feel that tinge of fear. I think that they could achieve it by making him a little bit less of a cartoon. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so as I mentioned, this episode, you see the synth prodigy relationship start to crack a little bit. So one of those plot lines does involve Morrow. This is interesting because Morrow, you are afraid of in this episode. Yeah. He is. And then in the second episode, you end up like kind of siding with him, which we'll obviously get to. But in this episode, we see him manipulating Slightly, and it's frightening, honestly. Yeah. So like we saw, he had put a chip in his neck and was able to communicate with him and very easily gets him to say, go steal that egg for him.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting thing, though, before we get to how this ultimately plays out. Kirsch walks in and to Slightly's room at one point and does the Three Monkeys story, basically trying to ask him about morality and whose side you are on. When Morrow and Kirsch, or probably Slightly, are communicating in this episode, there's a lot of like trippy, like showing a face, showing another face, like, kind of fuzzy, like transposing. You see Kirsch. So, and we know that they can watch what the kids do. David, do you think it's like very obvious that Kirsch is fully aware of what's going on, or do you think there's some ambiguity there?
I think there's some ambiguity. I don't, but because the thing is, because Slightly is talking, right? He's saying these things, so Kirsch is witnessing this stuff. Because that is, to me, this is the fast, like Kirsch and Morrow. We talked about, they teased it, I think, in episode 2. Like, these guys are playing chess with each other right now. And their face-off is going to be, I think, the moment of the season. Like, we're getting it. But I do think Kirsch is being a little... Because we don't know anything about what he... Like, Kirsch knows, I think, more than anybody else right now. And he is a figure. And they're playing a sleight of hand by having this big actor play a guy who doesn't really have a lot of lines in the first half of the season. So I think that we're getting the pieces to, like, his end game.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, like, because, the question is, like, well, if Kirsch is fully aware, why is he letting Slightly do any of this? Like, kind of fumble his way through trying to pull off a heist. But it might be a trap. It might be him trying to get Morrow to come. It might be him, or it could just be him just wanting to see how this plays out out of curiosity, like studying.
It feels like an experiment. Feels like this is part of an experiment. Like, we know at the end he sees Wendy and all that. Like he just seems to be wanting to see what happens.
Yes. So. When Morrow got Slightly to reveal his full name, were you like immediately shaking your head? He is, your boomer parents clicking on the link to give the identity. Like I just knew, I was like, oh God, this is. And part of me, again, this is where having him be a kid matters. Because it would have been too stupid for an adult to fall into his trap.
Yeah. Morrow, him saying sing and Morrow singing like his name was
so creepy.
So creepy, but like so good. It was just it was just so good. It was such a great like delivery and a great moment because it's creepy, but it's also like endearing to a child in a sort of way. Like, it gets Slightly to laugh, but it's also, you see him doing it. It's just such a perfectly delivered moment.
It was terrifying. Yeah. And it was, we knew that Morrow was trying to trap him and, but like just watching that play out was actually quite frightening. And then of course, Morrow does end up going to his mom's house and it's devastating. Like, you feel for everybody involved. And so he, Slightly reveals, or not reveals, basically after a failed attempt to go to the lab. And I think Isaac is the one who catches him. And of course has no idea what's going on because he's another kid. Morrow says, well, you could get someone to transplant basically the xenomorph by exposing them. We see him looking at Hermit's room.
Yeah.
Thinking about that. So they're setting up that encounter. It's so interesting too, because Morrow, at this point, he's doing something that's really messed up, which is manipulating a kid and potentially sacrificing a human, but he's still not unlikable to me in this moment. Do you think that's because the character's so well written, or do you think, because we haven't even gotten to the part where you really end up sympathizing with him? Like, I don't dislike him the way I do a lot of the other characters in the show.
Yeah, he's like the most likable character somehow, even with all of this like creepiness and being a villain and all of that. I mean, and especially to play this guy who is a villain throughout the first 4 episodes, and then without even hinting at the fact that we have a full backstory in episode 5 is absolutely incredible. But yeah, I'm this is Morrow and company. This is like this is like Sterling K. Brown on This Is Us. Like this is what we're getting right now.
The other synth kid storyline of note is Nibs, who is the redheaded synth, who is actually quite creepy.
Yeah.
And so with Slightly, you see the risk of, there's kind of multiple risks, right? Wendy is like, she's actually quite likable, I think. But the risk there is like, you see her communicating, she might be empathetic. She might have retained, I think that's kind of what you're feeling, is like, here's a child who's still retained a lot of her childlike kindness and sweet. Remember, the whole series opens with her not wanting to kill an animal. With Slightly, you see the risk of having a child and a synth, which is that they can be easily manipulated.
Yeah.
With Nibs, you see the risk of like puberty / anger, volatility. In the episode where they go and they visit the crash site, a face hugger at one point does grab her. We don't really see anything happen, so it's very ambiguous. In this episode, she tells Sylvia that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And in this, they're in their office. Sylvia tries to really calm her down and teach her about anatomy, and she attacks her. And then she gets her out of her room and tells them it's like a code 3 level event. Okay, so there's a lot to discuss here. What do you think's going on with Nibs?
I don't know. So you bring up something interesting about like each of these characters maintaining one base human trait, right? We have empathy. You have a little bit of like jealousy with the one who was like, which is really funny. He was like, "Can you talk to the alien?" She was like, "Yeah, sure." And he was like, "Come on, for real." She's like, "No, I can't." Like that was pretty funny.
That was funny. I actually like that.
And Slightly being, somebody easy manipulated, and now we have somebody who is carrying over something. Like I don't know if there is, because there's so many places you can go with this. Like part of it feels like almost like a religiosity, like of some sort of like belief in immaculate conception that she has going on, or a PTSD because she was really struck by coming face to face with these creatures. I have no clue what's going on.
I think with all the different synths, remembering that these are like, I think they're supposed to be like 12-ish.
Yeah.
Kids that age are really different from each other.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought, like, it's believable that these children who are about to undergo puberty would be acting in very different ways, chaotic and intense situations. They clearly want us to believe that the xenomorph got to her, right? You don't introduce this unless, and there's flashbacks to the face hugger, and we know that's how it replicates. Whether or not it's actually true, I think remains to be seen.
Yeah.
It's, Chekhov's embryo, I guess, but I feel like it's going to be revealed in a very upsetting way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the other thing in the episode that really, this episode otherwise, that I think is worth getting into is we do get a deeper introduction to the other star of the show, T.S. Ellis.
Yes.
So there is the scene where because you kind of saw how it worked with the humans who were chained up on the Maginot, the soldiers, but you really see it in this one, and you get a more fleshed out version of it, which is to say the little alien, they put it in a cage with poor sheep, and you see the sheep from the alien's point of view, and they do this a lot where the alien you is clearly intelligent and clearly like taking in everything. It again, shout out to the props department, because this scene was absolutely freaking disgusting.
It was nasty,
really nasty.
which keeps with the what's the thing about Alien again, it's a horror movie. Like there's sci-fi and all stuff, but it's a horror movie, and everything you see gives you something that's really hard to watch. And it was a disgusting scene. My
husband was watching. We were watching this, turned to me and was like, "I can't believe you're not more grossed out by this." And I have a thing where just to skip ahead, the scene with the aliens in the water grossed me out more than anything else.
Really? Okay.
My thing is like, could it happen in real life?
Yeah.
Like a bug could get into your water in real life. The alien did. I guess it is possible. Like I get really grossed out by stories about like cockroaches in people's ears.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. That's just
like the things like nest in your eyeball and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, it's gross. But so it gets in. It pops out the eyes of the sheep. It pops in and it takes over the sheep, and that's fascinating. This alien, it is on its own fascinating, as we see in episode 5.
Yeah.
Like the xenomorph, I think we kind of know what the xenomorph is all about.
Right. Yeah.
Just killing and replicating. Who it kills and replicates is a mystery. David, like, I guess we're kind of skipping ahead here with the eye alien.
Yeah.
But just to kind of stay there for a second, I don't really know what's going on with this guy, like what its goals are, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it has a plan. Like this, it seems to have a plan, which sounds crazy, but it seems to have a plan. And I wonder, because there's the moment where, the trillionaire, he's looking at it's almost like transfixing him, and it's like, I think it's I want to talk about this too because it's sort of leaning in the lowered expectation of this eyeball and like the way you underestimate it.
Yeah.
And it does that throughout the ship to get free. And it seems to be playing into something, like it seems to be playing at an idea or a plan that they're trying to get to. And I'm intrigued. Like this is like, we're talking about Kirsch and like a mastermind plan. We got an eyeball that's got a mastermind plan, I think, at some point through this season.
Yeah, because it makes choices.
Yeah.
And choices that are surprising.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that. Obviously, we're going to get back to it very soon when we get to Chibuzo and the lab scene. First, though, episode 5. So episode 5 is called In Space, No One, ... which is a reference to the tagline of the original Alien. It pays homage to that movie in a number of ways. So this has been commented by a lot of folks have observed this, but this is basically an alien movie. Episode 5 is an alien movie.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you is not, we agree, obviously it is very similar to the first movie. It feels like a standalone. We go back to the Maginot, which by the way answers the question you and I had of the first episode, was like, why cast all these really actors unless of course they're going to bring them back.
Yeah. As when it happened, I was like, yeah, of course. Yes. They're going to play a bigger role later. They were going to do a flashback.
But here's what I want to ask you before we get into breaking down the episode. Do you think this was a good idea? Because, like, do you think that, because it's a great episode, it's a great standalone piece of television, but do you think people are going to be happy returning to the world of Alien Earth, or do you feel like this is going to be like a bit of a letdown because this episode was so good, and I think traditional Alien fans probably embraced it so much?
I like it because here's a couple reasons I like it. One, I liked it because they waited to establish all this intrigue in Alien Earth first before going back. I think if this were episode 1 and we got this backstory and then they land on Earth, we'd be like, oh, I thought we were getting, it would feel sort of like we got an Alien continuation, then we're getting something else later. I like that they go back. And I think, again, the fact that we get so much Morrow backstory, I think is what makes this worthwhile of an episode. And it was just really cool to have, it's fan service in the middle of a season. It's just really cool to have this thing that goes back to Alien, which they mentioned the set, the how they did everything on the ship was the exact same layout as they had for the first Alien movie.
Wow.
So they did everything pretty much the same to give you that feel of, because it happens right around the same time.
There are a couple of things that will inform the rest of the series primarily the Morrow story, Black story, and like just kind of justification for everything moving forward. I also think the way that they flesh out the actual aliens a little bit, especially the eye alien in this episode, matter. But otherwise, it did feel very different in a way that, I don't know, I'll be curious to see how the next episode feels coming off of it. So just to start, the beginning is just so funny to me because we flash back to the Maginot, and this is before the episode 1. We see at the very beginning the end of the aliens taking over the ship. Now we get to see how it happened. Essentially, Morrow wakes up, and the crew informs him very casually that the creatures have escaped the theme and killed the captain. He finds out that the panel has been burned down. He suspects it could be sabotage. He finds out that Zaveri's been having an affair with Bronsky, who's also been attacked by a face hugger, and they put inside a pod and tried to freeze it up. And he thinks about replacing her, which again is a little bit of foreshadowing. So this is even before the labs scene, but like very early on, you realize that this is like Veep outer space.
Yes.
Like,
yes. Yes. This is what I always love about the Alien franchise in general, is that the class politics of Alien makes, like, I was thinking about this morning, that it absolutely makes sense in the world that we start like space exploration with like Gail King and like going and ringing the bell on Good Morning America and doing all that stuff. And 100 years from now, we'll be taking people who are like financially disenfranchised and do not like lower class folks, and saying, go out into space and do this stuff without proper training, without proper expertise, and go find, like, these are the people that we would actually send out into danger. Like, it's not Katy Perry in 100 years. It's the Amazon workers who need money, who we could take advantage of and send them off. And it is a ship full of these folks who have not gotten proper training, who have not gotten, the expertise on how to deal with alien species, and they just got to go bring them back. And if they die, they die.
I love that point so much, because I think, yes, we've been talking about like class, and this is sort of like the end of capitalism on Earth by the time you get to the substance, the main series, where billionaires have taken over everything and non-billionaires are basically like indentured servants, and we see so much of this series from the point of view of like what happens when billionaire money influences decisions.
Yeah.
And we get the reveal of the sabotage, obviously, which we'll get to, which is very much involves one of those billionaires. Yeah. But, the things that billionaires are willing to risk. And in this episode, we see the bottom of that, which is what happens when poverty influences decisions. You get a traitor who is clearly financial reasons. We find that out. You get Morrow, who is... and we reveal it through his backstory, does this and is, because he needs the money to try to save his daughter, who then he finds out dies, and then, okay, yeah, we'll get to that. Like all of these people are constantly talking about, is this worth it for 16 shares, 65 years of your life? And it's really fascinating because, it's definitely something this show plays with, which is what kind of decisions do people make when they have different competing incentives. And I think that's what really plays out here. And it explains a lot of the incompetence. Like I was just trying to pull up his name. It's not Chibozi, but the other guy who works with him is like a former drug addict. These people are not really the best of the bunch. We haven't even gotten to Malachite, I think. No, Malachite is the young guy who drinks the stuff. It was Raheem is the guy I'm thinking of. Yeah, they're a clown car, and
it's interesting. We're doing the paper soon, like next, and like I was also thinking about this and the fact that The Office was I think one of the reasons The Office is such a fundamental show for us is because it was about economic anxiety in the midst of while we were experiencing all this economic anxiety, right? And layoffs and all this stuff. And we're just cutting down a paper that is, going to be obsolete, things like this. And this episode kind of reminded me of an episode of The Office a little bit, where everybody was like going in their own corner, worried about their own economics and worried about the bills they got to pay and their own stuff. And there's like a lighthearted comedy to the way that you talk about it, but it's really deep down all the anxieties that you actually have, that you could see, how this happens.
Over the next 30 minutes, we go from basically, like you said, like worker to worker, and everybody does the wrong thing, and the aliens take advantage of it, basically. Yeah. Starting with, we talked about this, the Chibuzo scene, which I do want to get into. It's the woman from Severance, who's like
I need to see her. Now I just have an idea of her, that every time she's going to be on there, she's going to do something that's wildly idiotic. That's going to make me want to throw my
okay, so I'm not a scientist, but I did take like lab in high school. Yeah. And this woman violates like everything. Like it's like an open sandwich next to these like aliens. There's an open bottle of water. And she's like listening to me. She's barely paying attention. Yeah. So one of them creeps into the sandwich Okay, so this is another alien, by the way. This is a different species. There's 5 species. We've seen Xenomorph. We've seen T.S. Ellis. This is, honestly, this one might be the most revolting to me because it feels the most like real bugs.
Yeah, yeah.
It lays a bunch of babies into her water bottle, and the sound I made when that happened. And and again, to Noah Hawley's credit, I think he directed this episode. The way they play that out with the water bottle, where she's like almost drinking it, and it's being passed around the whole time. I was just like,
and you're zooming in on the bottle in a very like alien-esque zoom, like early 80s, late 70s zoom, while other people are talking. You're zooming on the bottle. It was really creepy.
It did feel like, you're right, the cinematography felt very throwback. One thing though, before I get to the ultimate, like the kid drinks the water bottle, there's a moment where it feels like T.S. Ellis, the eyeball, is like trying to warn her.
Yeah.
What do you think was going? He's looking at her and he's what was happening there? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm telling, like this thing has a plan. This thing has a plan that it is trying to execute because it gets moved. It's almost like he wants these crew members for itself, right? Like maybe that's what's going on. Like I want to work my way up the eyeball chain to something important. It's hard to tell. What do you think? You think it likes her? Like you think it was like a friend, like they're buddies or something?
Well, here's what I do think. I think the other aliens are its enemies.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe that is a factor. Like those are his predators. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It's one of the most fascinating. I'm so interested in this damn eye. Okay, so there's the screwball comedy of the aliens slowly killing off these idiots, and then there's also the mystery because they find out there's sabotage. Morrow, the only competent person on the entire ship, starts investigating it. So if the creepy bugs are the bugs things are the creepiest thing on the ship, the second creepiest is Tang, who Morrow interviews. Tang, who is the dude who's seen just like staring at one of the women's in cryo.
Who they all joke about at the beginning. The first episode, they joke about the fact that he does this, and this is what he does.
So he is interviewing him. He's asking about the sabotage. He's interviewing all the crew members. And Tang suggests, why don't you go look at like the video chats or whatever. He does. He sees this dude, Petrovich, who was shown in the first episode. He's a member of the crew, talking to Boy Cavalier, like videoed FaceTiming with him, basically being like, they don't pay me enough, and Cavalier is paying him off to sabotage the ship. Okay. We really think that the saboteur would be video chatting with a trillionaire, and like I found this a little bit too easy of a resolution. I'm just gonna. I like the idea that Boy Cavalier was behind it, and that is very in line with the alien universe. I just think this was a little bit
easy, like an easy way to solve the thing. I guess maybe like because I guess he was doing it where everybody might have been asleep. I don't know. I in the cryo chamber, and he was waking up.
He was pretending to be asleep. Right?
Yeah, he was pretending to be. Yeah, he was kind of asleep. So maybe that's part of it. Yeah, it was a little bit kind of an easy fix for them to figure out that he was behind it.
But again, it gets to what we were talking about, like the financial motivations of billionaires, the financial motivations of the really poor. It creates risk, right? Like if you have humans who are greedy and want everything, and then you have humans who have nothing, this is the kind of stuff that happens. He's been hiding in like the little mechanical areas of the ship, apparently. He turns the ship into a missile, basically, which is what happens. Okay, so then all chaos breaks loose in this point. The xenomorph finds Tang, Tang. The xenomorph who got very big very quick.
Yeah.
The medics, Chibuzo and Rahim, are operating. Oh, so sorry. Before that, the kid who drank the water, he was the Malachite, the little dumb guy. Yeah. Starts coughing up blood. Shmuel, I think Shmuel is the name of the other Shmuel, the other mechanic, while they're desperately trying to fix the ship. So the surgeons try to operate on him again. So Morrow's like, "What are you like?" He's like, "Get the hell out of here! What are you doing?" They're in there. Zavari's like, "No, we're gonna save his life."
Yeah, save him. We're gonna pluck these things. We're gonna put a little mask on. No, we're just gonna raw dog the air while we're just plucking these things out of this dude's esophagus. Just go for it. See what happens.
So obviously they die.
Yes.
It's the little tick aliens release gas while they're trying to save him. They manage to seal them in. Oh, by the way, the eyeball escaped the lab by just knocking over very breakable glass, which is insane. But
yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
So then Petrovich starts trying to kill people. Interesting. I wanted to take a beat here, though, because interesting thing when this happens, and I wanted to get your thoughts on. So Petrovich is the saboteur who's been hiding. He's got a gun, whatever. So Morrow gets in a gun. First, Morrow... so he solved it. He figured out it's him.
Yeah.
He is watching Zaveri be the worst boss ever and make stupid decision after stupid decision. So Morrow is with the other kid from the beginning, whose name escapes me, but the little one who's like, "Hey, you want to watch them having sex?" He tries to save him.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting because so like our way into this episode is we see at the beginning of the first episode, Morrow sealing the door. So we know he's cold-blooded, right? And then he's nothing but cold-blooded. He's screwing Slightly. Throughout this investigation, throughout this scene, he lets Zaveri retain control, and then at the end he's like, "You're just horrible at this."
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting, though, that he kept trying to save the kid. Did you like what from Petrovich? Like, what did you think of that? I thought that was
really interesting. I hadn't thought about that, but that is interesting. That he's just such a complicated dude. Because like, what are you going to do if you actually do save him? You know, like what's next? The pod is only for one person. Like, what is the actual end game there?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think he's not. The thing with Zaveri, who at the end is what he does lock out, he gave her like every chance to be competent over the course of the episode. So I kind of feel like I don't want to say he like has a code per se, but I just feel like he is not singularly motivated by. At the end, he's just like, whatever, I need to make this worth it. Right?
Yeah.
But there's, I think, just more to him in terms of his motivations. I don't know. I just found that interesting that he,
which is, I wonder if that is a foreshadowing of maybe Morrow will try to actually like save these kids. Like, I don't know, like the Neverland kids. Like, there's, we clearly know that there is attachment to him and children, right? Like there is something there with his daughter and what we're supposed to think has happened to her, but. So maybe there is just something with him trying to save kids throughout this.
Well, so ultimately everybody failed. Okay, so before there's two things that happen before we get to the door being sealed. The Xenomorph, after killing Tang, this is he sees Zaveri, who's the woman, who's the captain. He's right on top of her.
Yeah.
And then not only does he basically let her get away, the camera, this is the one thing in this episode that I thought was just like insane.
Yeah.
We cut between her running at, I guess, normal human woman speed and then him like 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And yet he stays behind her. It doesn't make any sense.
The first thing is he pulled up on her and like does the Birdman hand rub. Like he was going to ask her for a phone number. Like he just like pulls up on her. I was like, what's going on? And then he kind of like, toys with her a little bit, and then she runs off. Yeah, it was, sometimes we got to remember that horror movies are kind of dumb sometimes. Like that was the most like, okay, sure, whatever.
I mean, they should have, I don't know, whatever. I feel like there's ways they could have made that more believable.
Yeah.
That didn't involve her running at a significantly lower speed than him while he can't catch her. But I was dying laughing watching it.
She could have pushed some buttons. It could have been little obstacle courses or something.
Like she knows the ship well, right? Maybe. I don't know. Okay.
Her strategy was like, take a right. Take another one. It
was like a perspective thing.
Yeah.
That was a movie. I don't know. The other thing that was actually very cool that happened was the T.S. Ellis fighting the Xenomorph. And I do want to, because this was sick. While this is happening, because she tries to seal the door, and she gets involved and runs into, basically, T.S. Ellis has embedded himself in Schmiel. Great moment, by the way, when he turns around and he's got the eye. It's such a great, like takeover thing because it's kind of subtle at first.
Yeah.
They're like, is there something's off? Ah! They got
and then the little tentacle like moves his neck or something. Like it's incredible. It's incredible.
So this is a cool scene because at this point, again, we don't know what the xenomorph, it just seems, again, maybe I'm wrong. Clearly the xenomorph has something going on with the synths, right?
Right.
It's not here to attack it, Wendy. But aside from that, we know what the xenomorph is about. We don't know what TSL is about. We don't know what's going to happen. He takes over a human. It takes over a human. Great. And then it just launches itself at xenomorph and they start going at it. And this was like Kirsch Morrow in that way. I'm watching this like, I know who I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
But I thought this was cool because it complicated. I don't know what David, like, part of me was like, of course the aliens are all friends. And then
because also
why would they be friends?
Because also when TS gets on the xenomorph is like, oh, like get off. Like there's a clear understanding that I don't want no parts of this thing anywhere near my, like there seemed to have a familiarity there of like maybe a hive mind familiarity of like, I can't get this thing. Like I need to, because I feel like if you're a xenomorph and this thing just kind of jumps on you, you're kind of like, nah, like, yeah, whatever, but like it freaked out and it like basically knocked him into another room there. Yeah. So like my thing, I if I am formulating theories that it is that this thing maybe they know each other, but I think this eyeball seeks out the most powerful and just has to find a way to get to the most powerful thing there, which maybe like it might try to get to Boy Cavalier. Like it may have scoped that this is the alpha of Earth, like
it's 100% gonna kill Boy Cavalier. Are you kidding me? That scene where it's looking at it.
Yeah,
I like that theory. Yeah, it's always interesting, like, when you're watching a like sports game and you're like, I don't care who wins, and then you find you're like, wait, I actually really want like the Falcons to win, and you don't know until it starts. That's how I felt when they started going after each other. I was like, get him, TSL. I was like, on the side of the eye alien.
Get in that eyeball. Just like one, and just the idea of the eyeball in the xenomorph. We gotta see it. We gotta see it.
Oh, you've introduced that. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I'm team eyeball for sure. Okay, so then it's a great fight scene, but then we get to what we've seen, which is Morrow sealing himself into, and Zaveri dies. She actually dies. We see her die.
Yes,
it's no mystery. She's dead. But it was so funny because like in the first episode, the pilot, when this happens, I was like, wow, it's messed up. You should let that lady in. I was like.
Yeah, it's like whatever. I was with I'm with. It's such a fact because you think when you watch the first episode and they did this on purpose. Clearly, is that you think Morrow sabotaged everybody?
Yeah.
And then you realize it's just one by one morons dying. It's just like, okay, now I'm rooting for the one guy to get out of there.
Oh my gosh, it really is a testament to like incompetence and the way it can make you turn on people and. So messed up, but you're like, well, you kind of like when the surgeons were there. I'm like, I didn't even feel bad for them. I was
not at all.
Like,
not at all.
Give me a break. And then, she at the end is just, she may have super speed, but she's not have super smarts. Okay, so then we get flash forward to the present tense where he has. There's one final scene. He meets with Yutani, so he does go back to her headquarters. Yutani in like the most stereotypical evil Asian, like the way the guards are dressed and the plants, and this is kind of a big nothing to me of a moment because we get Morrow in some fine casual wear, but she's not that compelling to me, and we know what we already knew, which is he wants to hunt this down and doesn't believe in her, and then they do the big like kind of reveal, I guess, where we see it looks like New York City, unless I misidentified it.
So here's what was interesting about this to me is that there seemed to be a visual callback to Slightly in the ship. You remember there was like at the end of episode 2.
Oh yeah. When they played the music,
they play the music and they pan out and they show the situation. So again, there was a connection between these two, Morrow and Slightly here, and there was a visual sort of like repeat between the two. In this moment where we have Smashing Pumpkins playing now, and you fade out from Morrow's point of view, much better song they picked for Smiley, by the way.
Yeah.
For his point of view, and they fade out in that moment. So there seems to be some connective tissue between these two and their perspectives and the world around them that I think they're playing with here.
That's a good point. So Alien Anthology Fandom says that Weyland Yutani is in Tokyo, San Francisco, Sea of Tranquility, and Thetis. So maybe that was Tokyo or something.
Okay.
So I don't know. For some reason, I thought I saw the Empire State Building. I probably should have paused it more. Yeah, I just kind of, again, like one of my very few quibbles with this series. I feel like these like music drops like feel unearned.
Yeah,
you're gonna hit us with like a bah, 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 something cool has to be happening.
Yeah,
Him like looking out on a city is not that cool. Like, like imagine if like I don't know, they played it like in a cut to like the eye and or something. It
just feels like this is the end of the show. Just feel like how they're just going to end the show. It doesn't,
cool. You got the music budget to get Smashing Pumpkins.
Right.
Great song. Okay, so major outstanding questions.
Yes.
Some of which we've already discussed. Is Nibs housing a xenomorph embryo? Mm-hmm. Are the synths going to turn on Prodigy?
Yes.
Are the aliens at odds with each other? Mm-hmm. Seems like definitively yes. And the thing that I find the most interesting now, which is what are the actual goals of the different aliens? Because that is, if these 2 episodes have really complicated that for me.
So these are good questions. My burning question: where's Morrow's daughter? When is she coming? When is she coming back?
Yes, we didn't even talk about the backstory. Yes.
When is like Angela Bassett or whatever going to play 60-year-old Morrow's daughter, or is she frozen? I don't think she's dead. There's no way she's dead. I don't think she's dead. Now the question is, why would anybody keep her? Like, I don't know, because there was so much misinformation going on in that ship. People trying to, like, I don't know if there was an attempt. I don't know, because we know that she died 8 years into the journey, so like 55 years ago or so, right? Yeah. Allegedly died at the age of 19 from a fire or something like that.
Fire, the ultimate fake way for people.
Right.
You're right. Oh, I'm so stupid. Yes.
A fire, some sort of fire, something like that. Like she's out there somewhere, and the question to me becomes, what happens when Morrow finds out that she's alive, and what hell is going to break loose when he finds out that his daughter's alive after he's been thought that she's been dead for 55 years. Also, Easter egg, that was his actual daughter that he was in the scene with.
Really?
Yeah. And he threw her in the scene. So that was pretty cool. But yes, that is a burning question for me, is where is his daughter and when is she popping back up?
One more, what is Kirsch's endgame?
Yes, Kirsch.
That is true.
Yeah.
Like he's letting this play out.
Yeah.
He's letting the game come to him a little bit. I can't wait for the 3 heavyweights.
Yeah.
Meet Morrow, Kirsch, T.S. Ellis. Yeah, no, it is. I like the fact that we are questioning the motivations of so many people, because I think if the show was just simply child synths and xenomorphs, it wouldn't really be holding my interest in the same way.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the like beautiful carryovers of the Alien like the first Alien movies in general, is that everybody has their different political leanings and motivations, and you do not trust anybody really until it just gets time to like survive the xenomorph. Like the first part of this is just like who's on whose side, and we still don't really know for the large part of any allegiances that are really set in stone right now.
True. Yeah. It's funny because like you and I have talked about, like, we just these 2 episodes, but particularly the last one, the socioeconomic aspect is so big for the adults. It doesn't affect the kids, but then the kids have these other competing issues that are really less about incentives and more just about, maybe it's a bad idea to do this with kids.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I can't wait. We're going to talk about it. We'll keep talking about it next week, following week. I'm going to do my best to watch The Paper by next week. So please watch that. I've heard good things. And also just nice to just like watch a fun story about, the ruin of our former careers. Quick overtime though.
Yeah.
Love is Blind UK reunion.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I have never had a take age so poorly. Than calling a Pantheon couple.
No, I know.
And then the first 3 minutes, it was done. Cal, what a heel turn. What an unexpected heel turn from Cal.
The thing that bums me out, there's a lot of things that bum me out about Cal. So for those who missed it, Love is Blind reunion, spoiler, don't listen. Kieran and Megan, the true pantheon couple, still together. Everything's great except for
your haircut take just went through the roof because I've never seen. I don't understand. So it was like this, and then like bangs in the front.
He
and
also
then like
had great hair in the. I just don't understand it. But anyways, they're great. They're happy. Love them. You did correctly predict that Billy and Ashley broke up. Yes. So, but the big surprise, Jed and Barta kind of felt like exactly what you know. The big surprise was Cal and Sarover, and that's probably the only one worth really talking about here. I think what bummed me out the most is I wanted to believe that the whole like this is a man's type, and maybe that's not real, and like maybe we can, because so many people were correctly suspicious after he said I only date blonde women, and and then it just reinforced I think that fear that both men and women have, which is like, if I'm not your physical type, will you be able to see it? The Love is Blind premise, the entire premise of the show. He kind of, the love was not blind, I think, is where that played out. I mean, did you feel that way? Because I'm sure he would say there's other reasons why they weren't compatible, but it was hard not to feel like that was it.
Yeah, it felt like a big part of it. It just felt like he just wanted something else. And, and he became a jerk. He became like the thing when he was like, I paid for our honeymoon. Like that. It was disgusting. Because also seems like she got it. It seemed like he didn't have to, like that's it. Hearing her mom, I like, if I was her mom, I'd be like, why'd you even give me that bad edit? If we're getting, if like we're gonna get to this, get to this thing, and now I got to be sympathetic to, and like talk about this dude. Then him and Billy may have had like a divorce pact or something like that. That seemed really weird. I don't know.
Sarover said somewhere, I saw this on the internet, that they went on like a boys trip, came back and broke up with them.
Yeah, and sent the same text message to each other, like the
nasty
brotherhood of the traveling like a-holes. I don't know, like just.
I was frustrated by the way the whole Javen thing played out a little bit, because they played the scene of him flirting, but then they made like this big reveal of like the photo booth having. It was funny, I will say, that the photo booth, the big thing played for moments, but he kind of got away with acting like that exonerated him after we just saw a scene of him being incredibly inappropriate on camera, and I felt like the hosts should have emphasized that. So it was a little bit annoyed watching it.
Javen was kind of awesome. Like he's just kind of awesome as like a reality TV character, like a despicable person, and a terrible human being. But I could not do anything but laugh when they showed there was no curtain, and he was like, like, see,
his level of villainry is just like classic reality.
Yes, funny. Absolutely, and it was low stakes because they broke up early, didn't get divorced, didn't go down the aisle. He was just there as a complete jerk. And when he is on Perfect Match next season, I will be sat, as the kids say. Cannot wait.
I better not see Cal's fake teeth on Perfect Match. Get those out of my life. I do not want to see that. I do not want to see Billy. JFK looking. Javen will allow.
Javen, he'll be there.
Sophie
will be there. Well, Javen and so TV magic. Because what were you two arguing about? Like, what was the argument that you guys were having, that you had to go into a photo booth, so you didn't want to argue in public, and you went into a photo booth? Okay, all right, I love it.
Sure. Yeah, it was the Cal thing was a big bummer, man. After that season. But happy for Kieran and Sophie. I think they really are a great, or not Kieran, Kieran and Megan. They really did prove to be an excellent match. And and we'll be back. Love is Blind US returns in October, so we'll be back with that. We will be back next week.
Bonus overtime. I know you got to take on it. I know you want. I watched the Jussie Smollett doc, and I know that you want to tell everybody what you really thought happened with the Jussie Smollett case. Floor is yours, Mean. I know you want to tell us if it is a hoax or not. I know you want to get that off your chest.
I cannot believe you watched this. What platform is it on?
It's on Netflix. It is.
It's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. It's incredible.
I didn't realize until you told me about this that he is still maintaining total innocence.
Absolutely maintaining total innocence. It is. He oversaw the documentary in some sort of capacity.
Of course, did.
It's his interviews in the documentary, and he's going to be on what's the reality show where everybody's like Navy SEALs or whatever. Like he's doing that.
Oh yeah, like the
with military, the military thing. He's going to be on that. Coming to Jussie Smollett, the return. it's happening, Mina. And the beginning of the return is watching the documentary.
Do you have any takes out there floating on Jussie Smollett that people are when it all went down? That's like my Josh Allen is going to be a bust take.
So I have almost takes about Jussie Smollett because I was like,
this in the holster.
I was like, this is terrible. I can't believe it. And then
we should wait. There should be a service of like just the most rational person who you can send like hot takes to before, like a lawyer who's like, you know what, maybe not. Like give this 24 hours or like a service where it puts a 24-hour timer before the take is released into the wild.
Yeah, so you can just sit on it, just type it out, sit on it, and just let it ride. But yes, when Jussie happened, I was this is terrible. Then I got some calls that were like, Mona, you might hold off. Hold off. The details are a little different. So,
all right. Well, I can't wait to see what happens to Daily Nurse. I'm loving the show. We'll be back next week, next Friday. Thanks, guys.